The smell hit Elias before he even turned on the kitchen light. Rosemary, roasted garlic, and the heavy, sweet scent of a reduction sauce. It was a smell that belonged to a Sunday afternoon in a different decade, not a Tuesday night in a bachelor's apartment in 2025. He flicked the switch. The kitchen was spotless, just as he'd left it. But there, sitting dead center on the oak table, was a small, cream-colored card. The note from the past. Elias picked up the card. The cardstock was thick, slightly yellowed at the edges, and the handwriting was unmistakable, a sharp, elegant cursive that leaned slightly to the right. Elias, darling, the dinner was simply divine. The duck was cooked to perfection, and the conversation was exactly what I needed. It felt just like the old days. You haven't lost your touch. With all my love, Eleanor. Elias felt the blood drain from his face. Eleanor, his grandmother, had died in the winter of 2015. Evidence of the impossible. He looked around the room, his heart hammering against his ribs. He lived alone. He hadn't cooked a meal in 3 days, surviving instead on takeout and protein bars. Yet the evidence began to mount. The scent, the aroma of the divine duck was fading now, but it was undeniably real. The chair, one of the dining chairs, was pulled out slightly, as if someone had just stood up from it. The glass, on the counter sat a single wine glass. It was dry and clean, but when Elias picked it up, the base was still warm to the touch. He checked the locks on the front door and the windows. Everything was bolted from the inside. There was no sign of a break-in, no muddy footprints, nothing but the lingering warmth of a meal that never happened. A memory manifested. Elias sat in the chair his grandmother had seemingly occupied. 10 years ago, on the night she passed, they were supposed to have dinner. He had been stuck at work, a junior architect chasing a deadline, and he had cancelled at the last minute. She had died in her sleep that night, the duck he was supposed to cook still sitting raw in her refrigerator. He looked back at the note. The ink looked fresh, but as he watched, the date at the top of the card, December 20th, 2025, seemed to shimmer and settle into the fiber of the paper. He didn't feel afraid anymore. A strange, heavy peace settled over the kitchen. If the universe had finally allowed a 10-year-old debt of hospitality to be paid, he wasn't going to argue with the logistics. He leaned back, closed his eyes, and for a fleeting second, he could swear he heard the faint melodic chime of Eleanor's laughter echoing off the tile. This story touches on the idea of stone tape theory, the notion that intense emotions or events can be recorded into the environment and replayed under the right conditions. If you're finding this helpful so far, a quick like really helps the channel out.